Semen retention is the forgotten key to an ancient doorway, the door that leads from flesh to light. In every man lies a sleeping serpent, the sacred energy known as Kundalini. She waits in the coiled silence at the base of the spine, patient, potent, divine. Retention becomes the offering that awakens her from her 1,000-year slumber. Hold on, before we unlock the real power of semen retention, hit that subscribe button and join our Telegram channel, link in description. We drop daily wisdom, success tools, and energy secrets only shared there. Don't watch from the sidelines, become part of the movement. In the beginning, a man's energy moves downward and outward. His vitality flows into desire, into the endless seeking of pleasure. The more he releases, the more fragmented his energy becomes. But when he practices retention, the current reverses. The sacred river begins its journey upward. It climbs through the spine like dawn rising through darkness. This upward motion is not mere metaphor, it's an alchemical transformation. The essence, once bound to the lower instincts, begins to refine itself into subtle energy. It purifies his mind, his breath, and his very perception. Retention becomes the furnace in which raw desire melts into radiance, where lust transforms into light. Every tradition that spoke of enlightenment also whispered of this secret. In the ancient yogic science, semen was called ojas, the refined nectar of life. The sages said that when ojas is preserved, it becomes tejas, spiritual fire, and when tejas ignites the inner channels, the Kundalini awakens, ascending like a column of lightning through the body. At first, the man feels restlessness. His instincts rebel against the stillness. The body craves release, for it has forgotten what sacred containment feels like. But as discipline deepens, a quiet strength appears. His eyes begin to glow with an inner flame. His breath becomes calm like a forest at dawn, and a subtle warmth gathers at the base of his spine. That warmth is the stirring of the serpent, the shakti within him. She senses his sincerity, his restraint, his devotion. Semen retention is her signal that the man is ready to meet her, not as a slave of desire, but as a guardian of spirit. When she begins to move, life itself starts to hum with new intensity. The journey of Kundalini is not about sexual repression, it is about energy liberation. What was once expressed outward as desire now returns inward as creation. The energy that sought union with the external feminine begins to unite with the inner divine. Retention creates the vessel strong enough to contain this sacred union. As the energy ascends, it passes through the chakras, the inner temples of awareness. In the muladhara, it awakens stability and grounding. In the svadhisthana, it purifies pleasure into creativity. In the manipura, it becomes willpower. In the anahata, it blossoms into compassion. Each upward movement transforms the man from instinct to insight. When the energy reaches the heart, he begins to feel love not as emotion, but as vibration. His heartbeat synchronizes with the pulse of the universe. The same desire that once sought satisfaction now seeks surrender. Semen retention opens the inner channels so that love becomes limitless, not bound by form or possession. As Kundalini climbs higher, the mind becomes transparent. Thoughts slow, and awareness becomes luminous. The energy illuminates the vishuddha chakra at the throat, refining expression into truth. Words become prayers. Silence becomes song. The man's voice begins to carry an unseen resonance that moves hearts without effort. In the ajna, between the eyebrows, the inner eye opens. The energy now becomes vision. Clear, intuitive, unbounded. He perceives patterns within chaos and meaning within mystery. Semen retention here becomes not discipline, but devotion. It becomes the act of protecting clarity from the fog of indulgence. Finally, when the energy reaches the crown, the Sahasrara, where the serpent meets her beloved, the infinite consciousness. The union is beyond thought, beyond self. It is the marriage of Shakti and Shiva, energy and awareness, creation and stillness. The man dissolves into the infinite light, and for a moment, he becomes what he always was. Pure consciousness expressing itself as man. This awakening is not violent. It unfolds like a flower opening to the sun. Each petal is a realization. Each fragrance, a transformation. But for this sacred bloom to occur, the seed must not be wasted. Retention protects the seed so the flower of spirit can open fully. When the Kundalini resides through a retained man, his very presence changes. The air around him feels charged. His touch carries warmth. His eyes radiate peace. People feel healed in his company, even without words. This is the silent blessing of awakened energy it gives simply by being. Semen retention purifies the channels known as nadis, the Ida and Pingala, the lunar and solar currents. Find balance. The central channel, the sushumna, becomes active. Through this channel, the Kundalini ascends unhindered. The body becomes the temple, the spine the altar, and breath the sacred chant that calls divinity home. The more he retains, the more his consciousness refines. His dreams become lucid, his intuition sharp, his senses expanded. He begins to see divine geometry in ordinary patterns, rhythm in silence, and purpose in every moment. His perception stretches beyond the visible, touching the subtle dimensions of being. But with great energy comes great responsibility. The awakened man must anchor his awareness in humility. Kundalini is not a trophy, it is a teacher. She tests his purity at every stage. Ego can burn in her fire, but so can ignorance. Retention without reverence leads to imbalance. Reverence transforms retention into worship. To walk this path is to surrender to transformation. Old habits die, desires dissolve, attachments fade. The energy no longer moves downward in search of pleasure, it spirals upward in search of truth. The man becomes both the flame and the fuel, the seeker and the source. As his energy refines, even his physical body transforms. The cells begin to vibrate at higher frequencies. The skin glows with inner light. Breath deepens, heartbeat slows. The body becomes a bridge between heaven and earth. Retention makes him magnetic, not through lust, but through purity. The world feels his calm strength. The awakened energy also amplifies compassion. The man begins to feel others, not through sympathy, but through direct energetic connection. He senses the suffering of others as his own and radiates peace through intention alone. Retention expands his empathy because energy no longer drains outward, it radiates in all directions. The discipline of semen retention is the preparation. The awakening of Kundalini is the blessing. Together, they form the spiritual equation of evolution. Retention stabilizes the vessel, and Kundalini fills it with divine electricity. Without retention, the vessel leaks. Without awakening, the energy stagnates. Both must unite for ascension to occur. In the higher stages, the man experiences the merging of duality. The masculine and feminine within him reconcile. Desire becomes devotion, action becomes meditation, and life itself becomes prayer. He no longer seeks to escape the world. He sees the divine shimmering through it. Kundalini, once awakened, transforms even the mundane. Eating becomes ritual. Walking becomes meditation. Speech becomes mantra. The senses no longer pull him outward. They serve as pathways inward. Semen retention preserves the power that allows this heightened perception to sustain itself without depletion. Ancient sages describe this as the transformation of bindu into light. The vital essence, when contained, ascends as ojas, illuminating the mind. Retention creates a lamp in the skull, and Kundalini lights it. The inner world becomes luminous. Dreams become revelations. Sleep becomes communion with the infinite. The awakening of Kundalini through retention also purifies karma. The stored energy burns through emotional residues and mental conditioning. Painful memories resurface only to be transmuted in the fire of awareness. The man begins to feel lighter, freer, and more transparent. His life becomes a mirror reflecting divine order. There comes a point when even the distinction between retention and release disappears. The energy circulates so freely that nothing is lost. Every breath becomes creation, every thought a spark of manifestation. The man lives in continuous communion, his body vibrating in harmony with cosmic rhythm. Yet, this journey demands patience. Kundalini reses, according to readiness, not desire. Retention without purity of thought can create tension. But when mind, body, and breath align, the ascent becomes effortless. The energy moves like a song remembered from another lifetime, familiar and sacred. Semen retention is the art of containment, but not of suppression. It is about holding energy consciously, letting it move upward through awareness rather than downward through impulse. It is the choice to let desire refine itself into bliss, to let lust become luminosity. That refinement is what awakens the serpent power. The man who walks this path learns to listen to his inner currents. He feels energy spiraling through the spine, pulsing through the heart, humming through the crown. He no longer lives at the surface of sensation. He dwells in the depths of vibration. Retention gives him access to these inner realms. Kundalini awakening through retention reveals the sacred architecture of existence. The body becomes a map of divinity, the breath, the compass, and awareness the traveler. Each chakra becomes a doorway, each heartbeat a mantra. The journey upward is the journey inward, and at its summit waits the infinite stillness of the divine. When energy unites with consciousness, at the crown, duality dissolves. There is no longer a man practicing retention or a serpent rising. There is only energy becoming awareness, matter realizing spirit. The man experiences himself not as a being in the universe, but as the universe experiencing itself through being. This realization cannot be described, only lived. It is the ecstasy beyond pleasure, the peace beyond stillness. Semen retention prepares him for this vastness. It purifies the vessel so that infinity can pour through without shattering form. He becomes the flute through which the divine breathes. Even after awakening, retention remains sacred. The energy that once rose now circulates like an eternal river, nourishing body, mind, and soul. The man lives in balance, engaged yet detached, alive yet serene. He moves through the world as a silent blessing, a bridge between heaven and earth. In his eyes now shines the light of 1,000 suns. His aura expands beyond the body, touching lives silently. People feel drawn to him, not for his looks, but for his vibration. He carries the fragrance of stillness, the magnetism of purity. That is the gift of Kundalini, awakened through semen retention. Such a man no longer seeks power, for he has become power itself. His presence aligns the energies around him. Nature responds, coincidences multiply, life flows effortlessly. He realizes that creation obeys consciousness, and consciousness flows where energy is contained. Retention and awareness merge into mastery. Through this process, he rediscovers the divine feminine within himself. The Shakti he once chased outward now resides in his spine, his breath, his being. He honors her not through desire, but through devotion. Every act becomes an offering, every moment a temple. He lives as the dance of Shiva and Shakti in harmony. The man who has awakened Kundalini through retention becomes a living conduit of grace. He needs no religion, no rituals, no validation. His life itself is prayer. His silence speaks louder than words. His energy heals without touch. He has become what all seekers long for, the embodiment of awakened consciousness. In this state, the world appears not as a battlefield but as a mandala. Every event, every emotion, every encounter is seen as divine play. Retention sustains this perception, keeping the vessel steady in the ocean of existence. The man remains centered while waves of life rise and fall around him. Semen retention and Kundalini awakening are not two paths. They are one movement in different directions of the same energy. Retention gathers the power. Awakening directs it. When both merge, the human becomes divine, and the divine becomes human. The serpent no longer sleeps. She dances eternally. All right, you've got this incredible energy. Now, don't let it dissipate. Before you click off, prove you were here. Smash that like button, and if you're serious about this journey, hit subscribe right now. This isn't just a channel, it's a movement. This journey ends where it began, with awareness of energy. The seed that once carried physical life becomes the spark that carries spiritual life. The man who learns to protect this seed learns to protect creation itself. He becomes the guardian of the sacred fire that sustains all worlds. And so, semen retention is not just about control. It is about consecration. It is the sacred act of honoring the life force that flows through all beings. Through it, the man remembers his divine nature. Through it, the serpent awakens. Through it, the finite dissolves into the infinite. In the stillness of his heart, where energy and awareness embrace, he finds the truth that cannot be spoken, that he was never separate, never lost, never asleep. The energy rises, the light expands, and the man becomes what he was always meant to be, the living flame of consciousness, awake within creation,